Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's title and summary discussion video. We have not done a video like this on the channel in a very long time. If you remember, if you've been around for quite a bit of time, you'll know that I used to do cast list analysis on a weekly basis. You know that I used to do summary discussions on a weekly basis. Kind of dropped that. Kind of stopped doing it because the Sevens summaries and cast lists weren't really coming out that consistently, and I figured there was just more avenues that would be more worthwhile spending my time in. However, we got a big batch of summaries coming up, and after what I thought was a very good episode 58, a very good episode 60, I'm very excited to see where the show is going to go from here. And so I'm not tackling these summaries and titles alone. I am joined by my friend Pete. Pete, how you doing today, man? I'm
doing great, man. I always love doing these videos just because Dylan never shows me anything, so I go in completely blind, and it's fun just reacting to it,
yeah.
You know, and seeing where the show's going.
The only thing you know, and to be fair, to be transparent, you know in 61 Roa and Yuka are dueling.
Yeah, I mean, that was hinted at in the preview, so
yeah.
We know where that's going.
So we are going to read the summaries. If you do not want any spoilers, now is your chance to get off the video. 3, 2, 1.
That's it. Put in the save for later.
Yes, okay. You can look at it and read along as well. I sent it to Pete.
I'm ready.
All right. Episode 61, a live show, powerful rush duel. Yuka showed up before Yugioh and company again and commenced a baseball rush duel. She asked for the strongest batter, and Roa responded by announcing that he will avenge Roman as a fellow Roa Roman member. Thus began an unusual showdown between rock music and baseball, powerful rush duel, play ball. Episode 62, so this is brand new. The Luke Man. Tiger tells Yugioh and company that Luke has not come home, so they go look for him. They arrive at the Goha 6th quarry, but standing in their way is Yugioh. Then they hear someone yell, "Hold it right there." Just who is it? Episode 63, The Sixth Man. Episode 64, A Family of Gears.
Wow, that's a lot of...
Very rook heavy, right?
Very rook heavy. Oh my god, that's so much stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
That's why it's so rook heavy.
I don't know. Let me say this. When I read these summaries, the first thought that popped in my head, which now I'm not as high on as I was like 12 hours ago, which is a theory that I have not thought once. Rook is the sixth sibling. And I was like, I didn't even think about that possibility. No. But then I looked a little more at it, and I've kind of come off that theory.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that would make sense. We know so much about his family, unless they pull like some false operation where Tiger's not actually his sister.
He's adopted.
Yeah, and he's adopted. Yeah. But that would be kind of...
I think it's very unlikely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think when you see all that? It's very... I mean, episode 62, Luke Man is Rook. And episode 64, Family of Gears, I'd imagine that's also Rook-related.
Now, I wonder, are we going to get more flashbacks in that episode? Because the last time we saw a flashback, which I think was in the Asana Tiger episode, we saw that Rook passed out by Gears.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Gears, we know that. And he didn't remember anything that happened. So, I imagine we're going to elaborate a little bit on those fears, on the backstory of why he... maybe has multiple personalities from that episode where he dueled himself, or at least why he has memory lapses of not remembering like important stuff like running away and getting lost.
And why during that Kaizo duel, remember he dueled Corporate Kaizo, he said, it haunts my dreams every night, he said, "I hate Gears."
Yeah, he did.
Out of the blue.
Yeah.
You have Gears monsters, that's your
It's his
deck.
whole theme.
So what are you talking about there?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
He is one of the weirdest and most intriguing characters, and I think because he's undefeated, because he's oftentimes comedic and just an idiot, I think it gets overlooked a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to Rook, and based on the 62 summary with the Luke Man, based on how episode 60 ended, where Yugioh looked at Rook as if he had an idea that involved Rook, which that could be what episode 62 is implying, and based on 64's title, and the title of 63 being The Sixth Man, is that going to be the sixth Goha sibling revealed? We are getting near the end of the arc.
That seems to be... Now, I don't believe that will be Rook, but that seems to point to we're getting that mystery person. Now, hey, is that mystery person going to be revealed to be the person that actually made the fusion card.
Right.
Because remember, Yugioh said, yeah, I just kind of got this.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have it, but I didn't make this.
Yeah.
Could it be that sixth sibling? Could it be Otis? Could it be a character that's yet to be named? I mean, who knows? But weird that it's very Luke-centric. Very Rook-centric, and for a character that I always am like, okay, yes, there's definitely things to explore here with this character, but I feel like out of the 4, he's been explored the most.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And yet, there is always endless wells and springs of more things to figure out with Rook.
I'd agree
and I
with
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. He, at times, during different moments, he has felt like a protagonist.
I mean, he is the protagonist of the manga,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, but...
Let's start quickly with 61.
Shoot.
Roa versus Yuka. We've already talked quite a bit about this. If you watch Sevens Up, which is a podcast we do every Wednesday night, we've talked quite a bit about this, at least on the last segment. I want your opinion on it. I said this is a must-win for Roa. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves with 62, 63,
Yes.
64 right now. This is a must-win for Roa. If Roa loses, to me, his character's dead. There's not really any coming back from it. Would you agree with that?
I tend to agree, yes. He's only had 2 wins. I would say neither of them is impressive in Geta and Mimi.
Yeah.
Considering you just watched this last week of Mimi lose again.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's more of a lighthearted tabletop style duel, but still, she did lose.
Yeah.
So he needs a win. This would be a monumental win to even the score back with the teams since we're down 3-2 at the moment.
And avenge your cousin.
And avenge your cousin. You seem to be very Roa-like, that you just kind of showed up and put yourself into the situation.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be here.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Yuka could have easily dueled Roman again, Yuga, Rook, Gaku, anybody. Literally Swirly, anybody. So for me, it's a must-win because I just don't see in the 62nd episode of the show, even if the show goes 140 episodes, I mean, when is he going to start picking it up? I mean, he disappears for 20 episodes at a time.
Well, and that's the part that I also wanted to touch on. He not only needs to win, he needs what's going to happen after.
Yeah.
Even if he wins, that's going to be great. To me, it's necessary for his character. But then does he disappear for another 25 episodes?
He feels very much to the kind of appearances that he keeps up, right? That he's a big-time world-like celebrity.
Right.
And it feels like it's a TV show where they get a celebrity, big-name guest star, but they can't really afford to keep them around for more than one episode. That's what Roa is becoming.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, we can only afford him like once every 2 arcs. And that's when he shows up. So this is needed. This is a must-win.
Yeah, I completely agree. Then we move on to 62, where they're going to encounter Yugioh. Tiger can't find Rook. The episode is titled Luke Man. Is he going to become the Luke Man?
Which is something that she used to, like,
that
get at him because he hates that.
He's embarrassed.
Yeah. The stories from his childhood.
That also, to me, hints at a potential Rook versus Yugioh duel.
I mean, it would imply, right? Yugioh is the one to stop him in the tracks. I think that would be great because we have, at the moment, the most powerful sibling that we have seen in Yugioh, considering you're armed with the fusion card.
Yeah.
And then Rook he's the king of duels, man. He's undefeated. You know what? It would be so nice because if that actually happens, it's the first time since the 2 Yugioh duels in the whole show I could go, this is a legitimate good opponent.
I completely agree. And that's what
that'd
I was
be nice
thinking.
to see.
Yeah, because outside of those 2 Yugioh duels, I still feel like Rook has not dueled anyone
It's
legit.
been mostly Cupcake.
Yeah, and so, because even Eugene, you can say, well, he beat a Goha sibling. Eugene is the one Goha sibling that has just vanished.
Yeah, he's completely gone.
We
at least
don't get
we see
anything
Yugioh every week.
Yeah, at least we
pretty
see
much.
Yugioh and the other 3 won.
Yeah.
We get nothing with Eugene.
Nothing. He's just out there on the sea, just fishing with the fisher guy.
So even the one Goha sibling that Rook beat was the one, kind of the most irrelevant so far.
Yeah.
So, another interesting concept here is I would have projected a Yuka duel, another Yuden duel, and then Yugioh.
He's
They're
kind of
skipping
the line.
Yuden. And based on his role in this previous episode, episode 60, I wonder what the plan is with his character, that he's kind of staying more in the background for now.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Especially if Yuka loses, because then when episode 62 airs, there's only 2 presidents left.
Right, there's 2 presidents left, and then Yugioh is clearly at the moment the main threat, right? So if, let's say Yugioh goes against Yuga again, or Rook for that matter, and loses, I mean, well, where do we go here for the rest of the arc?
Yeah.
So, and do you give Yugioh a second straight win? I would love to see it, but I doubt it. So that is fascinating of, like, he's almost skipping the line of all of his other siblings and going after them. Or does the person that interrupts them kind of interrupt the duel? Does it end in a no result if a duel takes place? Does a duel never even start and it's more of a plot-heavy episode like this last one is? I mean, there's a ton of avenues, roads, if you will,
there is
to go here for the rest of the arc.
And that's what's so fascinating. And then, of course, we get to the title, 63-64, The Sixth Man. To me, episode 63, we're getting the sixth sibling reveal.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, and then episode 64, A Family of Gears. If you told me that was the title of an episode, without any other context, I would say Rook versus Tiger, which is a duel that I have been, pleading for since Tiger debuted.
Could still happen.
I think that's what it could be implying. I mean, what are your thoughts on that title?
It's just because, like,
it's late in the arc.
We extended 2 extra episodes, right?
So it should go to 67.
Right, but, like, at 64...
I know.
I mean, we're getting really pressed up against the end of the arc, so, like, do we have time to do a Rook versus Tiger duel?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I would love to see it. It just feels like, unless it's really written well into the plot of the end of this arc, it feels very misplaced. But again, this is all speculation because we have no idea what that duel is going to be. Maybe it's Rook and a Goha sibling or the sixth man or something, and in that we're exploring the backstory of Rook while he's doing those, his actions of the duel.
Right.
I mean, we don't know.
Or if Rook ends up being the sixth sibling, then Tiger's dueling for Yugioh's team, and Rook is dueling for the siblings.
I don't believe that will happen, I'll just say that, but man, would that be absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
It would almost be like he has memory lapses, and he got abducted by aliens, served some time there, got put back on Earth, had no recollection of anything that happened at the Space Academy.
Yeah, it'd be a fascinating route for them to go.
I mean, to roll into the next arc, presumably, after that, it would be crazy. But, again, we have no idea.
That's a big theory. That's a theory that I have seen spawn from these summaries, and before I even looked at other people's speculation, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Because I'm like, man, this is Rook heavy. And in between Luke Man and A Family of Gears, which are both Rook, you have the sixth man. And so I'm like,
it feels like it fits. It feels like it fits.
Man, it would be insane if he is. But, again, all speculation. Do you have any other thoughts? Anything you want to see here?
I'm just wondering here, even for the rest of the arc, are we going to space? I mean, like, what's going on here? Because Yugioh, it says, whatever happened there, right? Then it gets to Yudon, who then speaks to Yugioh. It was a game of telephone, which then gets to the group. That the card was made out of presumably debris that hit the Space Academy where the siblings were. So, like, does that imply that the materials to make fusion cards at the moment only come from there, much like when we went to Maximum Mountain to get the pieces for a Maximum?
Right.
So, like, is Kaizo going to bring back a fusion card for Yugioh? Like, that to me is fascinating because at the end of this, it feels like it either has to be Rook or Yugioh versus Yugioh, right, to end the arc.
That's what it feels like.
And it feels like we would need a fusion card to counterbalance it, and you also want to progress the game in this new method that's been put into the game.
Yeah.
How do we get one?
Yeah.
That's where my focus is.
Yeah.
How do we get a fusion card?
Well, it's going to be interesting. This arc, which has been, in my opinion, pretty enjoyable.
I think
especially the last 2 episodes.
It's been one of the stronger arcs for me.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. It's coming relatively soon to its end. I mean, after these 4 episodes,
crazy to think about.
We have 3 episodes left.
I know, it's crazy.
So this batch is more than 50% of what's left of this arc.
I know.
So let the speculation, but we're gonna get some revelations
here. Oh yeah,
including who
it's
that
get
sixth sibling is. Yugioh, Swirly, Rook, an unknown fourth. I mean, those seem to be the big 4 right now. It'll be fascinating to see what happens. But any other thoughts here, or are you good?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're watching this video, then obviously you are I would say, decent fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, because this is a very Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens based video.
And spoiler heavy.
And spoiler heavy, and I do appreciate your support. And if you're here, that means I'm sure you have some very interesting opinions, wants, and theories. So please comment them down below. Very interested to hear. the pulse, as you will, what you guys, the lovely people of the community, are feeling after this batch of summaries. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, and Jarrett Buller, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood and Latrell Smith. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon and who is a YouTube channel member. There are some really cool perks associated with being a patron of mine or being a YouTube channel member. I definitely encourage you to check them out. And to everyone that has supported me through those means, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I stream on Twitch. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Check out my friend Pete. He runs a channel, Clueless Gamers. That will be linked down below. A lot of great movie reviews, TV reactions. I'm on that channel quite a bit. Definitely check that out. Some great content over there.
Thanks,
Pete,
man.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man. I always love doing these.
Yes, I love doing them too. Got to start doing them again more. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will talk to you down below. And I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.
See you guys.